Incoming transmission.
Welcome, watchers of Illusion, to my Castle of Confusion. It's the 25th of October, and I've got another Dizzy game for you to check out. Have a look! Yes, it's Spellbound Dizzy on the Amstrad, and check out that lovely loading screen right there. Fantastic, eh? Okay, so this is Dizzy 5, or Spellbound Dizzy, as it's otherwise known. Now, there's a few changes in this one. One, you can take damage, which you can replenish with eating fruit, which you'll find around the world. As you saw there, the inventory screen is slightly different as well, as in it shows you icons of what you've got in your bags, which is absolutely brilliant, like that. You still only carry 2 items at this point. That's a bit of a problem, but I'm sure, if memory serves, there will be a bag that you can get later on which increases your inventory to at least 4. I have to say, the first impressions of this, it's gorgeous. Look at it. I mean, they've got rid of the green tinge that Dizzy used to have, and I quite understand, and never will understand to this day, why he had that greeny tinge to him. Maybe they were trying to tell us he wasn't really an egg, but I don't know. The Amstrad version always had that greeny tinge around the outside. I'm not really sure why. You see, I'm trying to jump on that cloud. I'm not doing a very good job of it. But you can see there, look at this animation. Absolutely fantastic. So you've got these different bits of animation. Now, on the Spectrum version of this, there was a 48K and a 128K. And the 128K actually had those animations, whereas I'm not sure the 48K actually did. But you can see the transitions of the screens are really nice. Dizzy is finally a bit more fleshed out. And just look at that. That's amazing. I love that. It's absolutely fantastic. And there you go. An eating animation as well. I mean, you can't get much better than that, can you, ladies and gents? I mean, they've really pushed the boat out here and given Dizzy some extra animation. Love it. Can't really go wrong with that. This game was released in 1990, and it is a Codemasters. This was the original series was developed by the Oliver twins. We know this. Hi guys, if you're watching. And but this was actually they had not as much involvement in this game, as far as I'm aware. And it was Big Red Software that actually redesigned the graphics engine for the game and everything else, which is brilliant. This obviously is the 5th in the Dizzy series, but we're not including things like Quick Snacks, Fast Food, Dizzy Down the Rapids or anything like that, because those I class as sub-games. This is sort of more the more narrative version of the Dizzy franchise, where he's on his adventure. Now, this game is bloomin' huge. I think it boasts over 100 screens, which obviously is massive. I mean, I don't think, in my history of playing Dizzy games, I don't think I ever finished this one. It is hard, and I'm sure we're going to find out a bit later on why it's hard. But it is somewhat more tricky than what you're used to. Even Treasure Island Dizzy was easier than this, and you only had 1 life on that, if you remember. Okay, so this is great because you do have the extra bits now. But there is a swimming animation a bit later on. You can heal yourself. You've got to collect stars. They've done away with the coins and the diamonds, so we're now actually collecting stars. Now, every time you get 5 stars, you can rescue one of the Oak Folk, if I remember rightly. I'm purely going off memory here, but the soundtrack's lovely, and there's a bear. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, the bear's going to growl and throw me the opposite direction. So, yeah. This is tricky because I need to pick up that object in the middle of the room, which is a glass jar. But every time I hit the mushroom, I bounce into the bear, which is great, isn't it? No, it's not. So I'm probably going to get killed by the bear because, there you go, look. Touch the mushroom, jump to your death. So yes, just to let you know, yes, I am actually using a infinite lives cheat, because otherwise we're not going to get very far in this game. Okay, so we've got the glass jar, we've got a heavy rock. Now, as you saw, we needed the rock to be able to go down the wind shaft. If you have the rock, you can drop down. You do need further rocks to get further down, but that's when you've got expanded inventory. So here we are. Can't do anything here. That is a minecart, by the way. So we can actually walk our way over here, and you can see there is a bit of a glitch in the track there, so we're going to have to find something to hammer that down. Wonder what we're going to need for that. And then we can continue. And that was a bit of a blatant advert for a game compilation there. They do tend to do that in a few of these now, which is weird. I mean, they've taken the scrolls idea from Treasure Island Dizzy, and some of it's helpful, and other bits are just blatant advertising for games. Now here you can see the bubbles aren't quite as nice as Treasure Island Dizzy, and you're also going to find out that my health is dropping like a stone. Why? Because I don't have the flippers to actually get us through the water, but I'm going to have another go and see if we can get there. That crab's actually moving faster than I am anyway, so yeah, we go. This is why I put the cheat on, guys. It's sadly needed to actually get you some decent footage. Not sure why Dizzy's turned a shade of blue either. I mean, I suppose it's just to denote that he is actually under the water, but I love the fact he's got the red boxing gloves, the red boots on. They are very much separate from the rest of the graphics. I do. The Amstrad did that really well, whereas the Specky version not so much. The C64 version of this, I think, if I remember rightly, was a little bit disappointing, and it had quite a lot of bugs in it as well. But I think the full version was actually released eventually. It was released on the C64 version of Dizzy's Excellent Adventures, if I remember rightly. But it really was a buggy pile of pants. So they did re-release it eventually. Full game, no bugs, exactly what you're seeing in front of you now. Now the soundtrack's brilliant as well, as you'd expect from a Dizzy game. This soundtrack rocks. So I'm just going to be quiet for a sec so you can actually hear that. There you go. Classic Dizzy tune, I think. Very nice. So the 128K on the Spectrum had this version. You can put those rocks down on soft items and they don't break, but there we go. Never mind. There's nothing soft to drop those on, and I actually need to go back up the windy shaft. Madam. So here we go. We've got the scrolls there, but look at the background graphics. We've got those trees in the background. We've got the clouds. I think that's it. Right, we can't actually go over there because those bees will kill us. This rain, I think, is supposed to hurt. Or not? I don't know. I thought it did. Never mind. This was released on the Amstrad, obviously, because that's what we're playing on now. It was also released on the Spectrum, the C64, Amiga, Atari ST, and the CD32. So there was quite a wide spectrum, excuse the pun, of systems that this was released on. Now the NES also had a couple of Dizzy games released on it as well, so we will cover those at some point as well. But this is carrying on with the main Dizzy Adventure series. The one after this, I think, was Prince of the Oak Folk, and that was one of my favourites on the Spectrum. This one was just mega big, and I think that was the main problem with it. It just got too big. I think it was. I mean, Crystal Kingdom Dizzy, we're looking mega scale. This was pretty much on par with it. Maybe not as big, but it was pretty damn close, to be fair. So, if you like those big adventure games where everything needs to be explored, this is the Dizzy game for you. I think you'll enjoy it. I keep trying to kill Dizzy. Aren't I doing a great job? So there's where you get your boulders from. They do respawn, so if you do pick them up and drop them and they all smash, don't be too disheartened. You can actually go back and get them, so that's no problem at all. But you can see each screen has a different title. At the top of the screen there, you can see Bottom of a Deep Pit. You need to use the trampet to be able to bounce from side to side. It can get a little bit annoying. After a while, you can see that I had to smash a rock to pick up the trampoline, although I'm going to pick up the dagger. Because they're so close together, which one is he going to take? Of course, he'll take the dagger. So, yeah. So to get back up the other side, you need to keep taking the trampet from one side to the other. It is slightly annoying. Tedious more, really, than annoying, but kind of falls under the same bracket, doesn't it? And that was a great effort. Look at that. That was fantastic. But the longer you hold your jump button down, the higher Dizzy will bounce, and that's quite a nice feature as well. So you've really got to time your jumps to be able to get up on top of there and get back up. So that's really good. I like that. It's a new mechanic for Dizzy to use, isn't it? So you see there, mushrooms. I think mushrooms should be able to be walked through, because I think if I remember back to the original Dizzy, mushrooms could be walked through. You didn't have to you didn't get stuck on them, and if you needed to position yourself, you could. But now you can't. You've got to basically do a leap of faith jump onto them and hope you don't bounce to your death, because that can happen quite easily. Okay, now we're actually going to go in the minecart. Whee! As it says here. Oh, and then we can't go any further than that. It's going to spit me over to the next screen, and yep, I'm actually getting dizzy. No pun intended. So, this is basically the crux of the game. So, I mean, to be honest, the only thing that I think is really wrong with this is that it can be insanely frustrating to get from one section to another. I mean, I think it's all very cleverly done, don't get me wrong. I mean, look at this. You can't get up onto that platform there without... I think you're going to have to approach that from somewhere else and then you'll come out on that screen. I think that's probably what's going to happen there. We'll go through here and... Oh, okay. I can't see a thing and I've just been eaten by something horrible. Great. So you've got to be careful with rooms like that. There's absolutely no warning. So you kind of... Yeah, it can get a bit frustrating. There's a lot of backwards and forwardsing, as you can probably imagine, being a Dizzy game. That's kind of, you know, goes without saying. It's a Dizzy game. It's going to do that. But I think, for me, the best thing about this is the graphic overhaul. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Really like Dizzy. The animations are smooth on him, but he looks more fleshed out than he has done in previous Dizzy outings on the Amstrad. Like I said, if you remember the way he looks on the original, even Treasure Island Dizzy, there's like this green tinge to him, and he looks somewhat slimmer. So obviously he's on a decent diet now, and ready to tackle the day. So you can see here, I love the screens as well. I love the fact that the borders changed. There's a nice graphic change there as well. I really like that. The clouds are back, so you can actually jump on the clouds, but I'm not doing a very good job of that either. And I can't actually get any lower. I keep jumping at the same height, so I'm going to have to take a dive here and try and get off somehow. I'm sure on the Spectrum version, if you held the spacebar down and moved left or right, you actually just jumped off normally, but maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of the original Dizzy. Still. Anyway, as the Dizzy games were normally ported from the Amstrad to the Spectrum, I wonder if that was the case for this game as well. I imagine it probably would be, because why change the formula? At the end of the day, I think that's quite good. But cracking job on this for all the systems they did this on. It's absolutely brilliant. The adventure is absolutely huge, and I think you can have a lot of fun getting through it. But there are so many frustrating parts of this game which are going to have you ripping your hair out. And I think, to be honest, that spoils it just a bit. So my scores for this are going to be somewhat lower than you're used to with a Dizzy game, but not substantially lower, just lower. Because I think if you can have a big adventure game like this, you shouldn't feel the need to put cheats in. And unfortunately, I felt the need to put cheats in. And that was after a 5-minute pre-play before I actually got stuck into the actual review side and bring you this video. But, you know, at the end of the day, we didn't really have that many cheats. Oh, here we go, look, randomly on a cloud now, so that's good. So let's see if I can get on the next cloud above that. No, can't. So let's go on this one. So we should be able to get across here, up onto the next cloud, and over to the opposite screen. So there are little clues and little things that you need to do for that, little puzzles, to actually get yourself around. Now, this fella here, if I remember rightly, this is one of those frustrating things that I am talking about. Okay, so I am actually now pressing Z and spacebar to jump over to the left, but for some reason Dizzy keeps jumping upwards, so I've missed him now 3 times. I'm going to reposition myself, see if we can actually get it next time. But this whale is a real pig to actually try and get onto in the first place. See, now I've just missed him completely, and now I'm under the water again, which if you're under here for too long, you'll notice my health just plummets. You need the flippers here, and there's no two ways about that. So if you miss that whale like this, there we go, look, am I going to stay on him? No, I'm going to keep rolling now. Look, I can't jump off him, so I'm actually going, look, see, frustration levels rising. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about here. We can pick that star up, that will let us do that, but I'm still going to die because I have no oxygen. So yeah, that's probably the thing that lets this game down the most, is just the most frustrating parts of it, and I've just completely mistimed that, but luckily we can get ourselves back up again without any problem. The whale tends to take his time coming back again, but let's see if we can get it. See, it's really difficult to look, I'm rolling and I can't stop rolling, so I can't actually jump over and pick up that item which I need, and I expect by the time I've got to the need to get out of the water, I'm going to probably die. So that is, again, it's frustrating. Look, I'm dead again. So the frustration levels for me is what lets the game down considerably. But other than that, it's a great Dizzy jaunt. I think you'll enjoy it. The music's fantastic, the animations are great, and have a play at least and see what you think. Anyway, I'm going to leave the review there, guys. I shall be back soon with a brand new one, and we'll be wrapping up the Dizzy series before too long. Hope you've enjoyed the review. Remember to like, share and subscribe, and thanks ever so much for watching. Bye bye.